Welcome to the Business Owner Spotlight by AudateMedia. In this interview show, you will learn how to succeed through other people's stories, challenges that they overcame, and how they are winning in this new economy. You'll learn what to do in your business, what not to do in your business, and how others are succeeding. Tune in every week to discover new stories, new businesses, and new ideas.
Hi, and welcome to the Business Owner Spotlight. So today I am very excited to have Gordon as our guest. So we're going to be learning all about your business ventures, and we're going to also hear some motivation from you. So Gordon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, Gordon Brodecki. I am from Croydon, Pennsylvania. I'm on the outskirts of Philadelphia. I'm the owner of Garage Fitness. I've been the owner of Garage Fitness for the last 7 years. I also written a book called Unleash the Ultimate You. I'm the author of Unleash the Ultimate You, bestseller, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Body. I'm also the co-author of Flashpoint, the Turnaround Story, which I like that. I like that book a lot. I like being part of that book because in that book, it was more about my story. You know, everybody has a turnaround story, that point, that pain point, that point you're like, I had enough of this. And that's where that book, that co-author book took me.
Yes.
It made me shout deep inside a little bit. But my baby is Unleash the Ultimate You. And if I'm going to dive in a little bit more about that book, what I really, really like about that book, originally, when I was going to write that book, it was supposed to be top 10 fitness tips, Unleash the Ultimate You.
Okay.
And I remember thinking years ago when I was younger, when I worked for a company called Valley Total Fitness, before I went into an entrepreneurship and started my own business itself, I always wanted to write a book. I was like, I want to write a book someday. I want to write a book. And I said to my clients, they're like, oh, I can't wait for it. So I came up with this 10 fitness tips, at least show to you. And then the pandemic happened. And I was like, I don't know if I like that title so much anymore. Right? I wanted something a little deeper. Actually, eventually hired a ghostwriter. I wrote about 30% of the book and I hired a ghostwriter. And we would sit down and talk about the title of the book. And I'm like, I don't like this. I want to, as the book would start progressing, I just noticed that it took on such a different facet and a different light. And I was like, Unleash the Ultimate You should be the title.
Right.
And then everything I practice, everything I teach people is you change your mindset first. Because that's where the book was going, was changing the habits, small habits, and the bigger habits. I have the book right here.
Awesome.
You see it in the background too. It's like a mirror of it.
Yeah.
So,
perfect.
And what I noticed is that what I teach, like I said, is changing your mindset so you can change your body. Because if you don't change your mindset first, you don't change this first, forget about changing your body. That's only going to last so long. You're going to like get ready for the beach, or you're getting ready for the summer. Then all of a sudden you're in the gym and you're out of the gym, or you're making a New Year's resolution, and then you're back to square one again. So that's where that book went, and that's why it's changed the name.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what you do, because I noticed you do both in-person training and online training, right?
Yes, I do one-on-one personal training. I also do online training too. I'm taking on some coaching also. I used to teach group classes. I used to teach big group classes. I got away from that a little bit. I might start something again, but I want to do that maybe in a park outside where I live in Pennsylvania, which I think would be really nice, especially this time of the year, and just get a group of people together and do a group of training. Yeah, what originally started at, I'll backtrack all the way. I started training myself when I was at the age of 13 years old.
Wow.
I am 46 years old now. All right. So I originally started at my brother's weight set in the basement of my dad's house. We lived along in the Chamonix Creek in Croydon, Pennsylvania. Well, actually, that's in Ben Salem. It's literally about 3 blocks away.
Oh, wow.
So we had the weight set my brother bought, and I was really into The Incredible Hulk when I was younger. I used to watch it with my mom. I used to run around the house. I would knock stuff over. My mom would make sure I laid it down, like pretend like this mic is like is a lamp. She would tell me to put it down, so I place it down slowly because she didn't want breaking stuff.
Yeah.
So I loved it. So I got into weights. And probably most every that ever lifted weights has read the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger. That was one
Okay.
of my first books. I read it from front to back, probably multiple times, not thousands of times. And it got me into it, and I followed his routines. As the years passed, I started training others just to teach them. And I would say I was like in my early teens. And then I got into powerlifting,
Mhm.
and I did that for a little bit. And then I won some competitions, and then I went on to bodybuilding. Fast forward, I was working with a friend at this place called Harshal Cafe, and he told me there was a gym around the corner that was open up because he knew that was my passion. He knew
Right.
what I was doing that wasn't my passion, and he said, "Why don't you go check it out?" So I remember the guy, Lou, Peak Strength and Fitness in Bristol Township on Bristol Road, actually, in
Mhm.
the Chamonix, by the Chamonix Mall where we live. And I drove over there and I tried to get the job. And he looked at me, he goes, "What makes you so special? Everybody works out. And you're like, what's so great about you?" And I didn't really have an answer for him. I left and I decided I'm going to go back again, which I
Mhm.
did. I went back again. And once again, we started going the same, dialogue. I had a couple more answers for him,
Mhm.
and I left again. Third time I come back. Third time's a charm. He says, "You got the
Right.
job. Here's
Wow.
the key to the place." Once in a while he went away to Thailand. He gave me an extra $1 an hour if I was to open up early because he wasn't going to be there. And I eventually that I was running the gym. I was selling
Wow.
members, cleaning the gym, and personal training wasn't really that big back then. And I decided that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people out. So I just decided I was going to go talk to people, and I started charging. It
Yeah.
wasn't a thing. And one day he came home from Thailand, Lou, and he walked up to me, and I'm training this girl. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Keep doing what you're doing." He's like, "You're bringing in revenue." So that kind of took off in that direction. And that's how I got started in personal training.
Awesome. So you kind of created your own kind of role within that job.
Oh, most definitely.
That's
I
awesome.
play it all along.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, our segment is highlighting business owners because we also want to be the voice of inspiration. As you know, with COVID, business owners, entrepreneurs, they had to adjust so fast, throughout this last, year. It's been a year already. So, how did COVID impact your business?
Be honest with you, it didn't really impact my business per se.
Uh-huh.
I had one-on-one training. Once things opened back up, I had enough revenue where it was stocked away. My gym is a detached garage from my
Okay.
house,
Yeah.
so no overhead, and I was really smart about saving my money, what I do for a rainy day.
Right.
So when it did happen, I was just prepared. I was prepared. I prepared
Yeah.
myself. And soon as things let off, it was like I tripled my income. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
COVID. Some people went down with the ship. I took off. I decided I was going to do it the opposite. I was like, I'm
Right.
going to take off and make sure my business flourishes because I think the one-on-one training is a really good aspect, especially with the way COVID is right now.
Right.
And one of my plans, my next business plan is to license Garage Fitness and take
Mm-hmm.
it Garage Fitness USA. And that way people can do what I do in a safe environment. And I can teach
Right.
other trainers to do exactly what I'm doing to earn a
Mm-hmm.
six-figure plus income and without a large overhead. I don't know what trainer wouldn't want that. That's been in it for a while. Most
Right.
trainers don't make it's very rare that they do, but they can. I learned how to market well. I'm marketing and I do a lot of organic marketing. Probably
Right.
99% of what I do is organic marketing. I don't really do any paid marketing.
Right.
I don't have to because everything paid for itself. Showing the results. There's so much that goes into the business part of it when it comes to the little things that people don't do, and if they did it, they would see results. And if other traders did that, they would see results too. And that's what I want to teach
Right.
them to do. How to open up it. They don't want to. Look at it. Most kids or young adults or whatever that are getting into the business and they want to open their own business. They don't know what an LLC is, or they don't even know how to open one up.
Right.
They don't know how to market correctly. They think putting pictures of themselves up, flex, and
Yeah.
bodybuilding is marketing, and it's not. Like nobody cares.
Right.
Who cares what you look like?
Right. Right. So it sounds like you have a lot of knowledge, which is important as business owners. You have to know everything, the marketing, but like you said, organic marketing is the most powerful. So referrals, things of that sort. So that's good that, COVID definitely helped. Or like you said, you were not in the group fitness world, so you had that one-on-one. So it sounds safer, more comfortable.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
People that want to wear masks, they can wear masks. People don't want to wear a mask, they don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
I don't discriminate. You want to wear a mask, it's fine. I'm just like, you don't have to though with me. But as long as they feel comfortable, everything's clean. I clean out all my equipment. It's a small little gym. So it doesn't get like there's like 5 different people, 10 different people in and out of the gym. So it's a very, very, very safe environment.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's amazing. And as you are growing your business and things like that, what keeps you motivated? I think all business owners have good and bad days. It's a roller coaster. So what keeps you motivated?
I'll tell you what keeps me motivated. It's that I'm not staying still. I'm trying different things out. I'm trying in the speaking world. I started publicly speaking. I originally started at a publicly speaking gig at Investor Schooling. One of my clients, Larry Steinhaus, owns Investor Schooling, him along with Phil Falcone. And they do all investing. And he's like, yeah, one day we're jogging. I used to go over his house, the midst of everything that was going on. I would go drive over there to train him, and I would jog with him. And one day he just says, I want to speak at my summit meeting. I never spoke before. I was like, sure, why not? I'll do it. Yeah. And what do you want me to talk about? He's like, oh, no, you figure it out. So I figured it out pretty quickly. I came up with a speech, and it landed really well with the audience. And then he asked me to speak again. And his business went from, he makes really, really good money there. And because he teaches people. He's not about, just to dive into his business, it's not about just hey, I'm going to teach you something and give me your money. He wants to really, really teach you. So I'm kind of give him a plug here because he's an awesome friend of mine. Of course. And he helped me a lot. And at the last speaking gig, I had over 100 people sitting in the audience. It was the second time speaking. And from there, Christoph Wyman reached out to me about the Ultimate Speaker through online on Facebook. And I decided to answer them. Usually I don't answer those that often. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Usually most of the time I say no. Very rarely I say yes. Yeah. And I said yes to him. And it was a blessing in disguise because now here we are on the podcast. And I loved everything about that event. Right. I think of this as this. This is the entity. And I think everything else that branches off is just some things that feed the entity, right? We have the pro speaking, we have Investor Schooling is helping me out, like a part of it. It's just little things like that. And then then if we get into the investing world itself, I started investing my money. So my wheelhouse is my training and my business, my passion. This is my passion right here, Garage Fitness. Yeah. Right up here. Everything else. So I have investments here, investments there, investments here. So any entrepreneur anybody out there, besides just being a business owner, should know how to invest. Lending, investing, stocks. Right. You want to get involved in real estate. I think it's very, very important if you want to keep growing, especially if you want to keep growing and be in a safer position. And well, we met at that event, and that's so true what you're saying. When you have a business or a personal brand, you can't expect opportunities to come knocking at your door. Like you literally have to meet people, even if it's virtual, like me and you are connecting and we're not even in the same state, But yeah, I think that's very powerful to show up to events and then also to have a platform for yourself. Like I know you mentioned you have your Wednesday shows, so where you can continue to share more stories. So that's one of the things that stood out when we met at the event. You said, hey, I have a podcast. And I was like, hey, we have a podcast. So it's a perfect, opportunity. We meet at the event, but we connect after. I love that. And yeah, my webinar is a lot different. It was more of I winged it one day and I wanted to do it. What I wanted to do is teach people and read between the lines because there's so much, and I'm going to use this word loosely, bullshit out there in the fitness world, in the industry, that people are trying to say something from detoxes any other supplement, a waist trainers, and I debunk all of it. And I welcome anybody. Come on, bring it on. Like you want to sit there and talk to me and tell me wrong. There's science against what you believe in, but they're trying to sell something, sell product, and I don't like that. I don't like trainers who tell their clients that they can get rid of spot train. They get rid of it by doing sit-ups, which isn't true. Either they don't know, or they're trying to sell them training.
Right.
And that's where I come in. Like, nope, we're not doing that. Right. So I think more voices like mine are out there. More people are going to be in better health.
When it's honest training, not expecting a miracle in 15 days.
Yeah. Although I can give results pretty quickly for quite a few people. I just had one of my clients on the other day was working on 1.5 years on his own with other trainers at another gym. I'm not gonna disclose that information. And he started with me, and after 4 months, he went from 189. He's about my height, 189, 144 in 4 months, and just following what I had him do. And a lot of that is structured and scheduled, and that's important when you're training. It's important in business. It's important in all assets of your life. You keeping your house clean, that's important. Organization is important. All these things are important. When you're organized, you'll see more results in your life.
Right. That actually leads me to my next question, because I'm a big believer. How you do one thing is how you do everything, So this morning I'm like, I have to go to the gym. Then I know what comes after that. Then I know I have the podcast. It's really just having everything scheduled and making the time for everything. How do you think the mindset of fitness applies and helps business? Mindset of fitness helps in the business world.
Well, exactly like I just said, you're making these small little habits, small little changes. And then what happens is one of the things I explain to people, it's not about the goal being the goal. It's about making the habit the goal. I read a book called Atomic Habits a long time ago. I read a book called Think and Grow Rich. I read all these books. I went to all these seminars, and I went to these courses. I went to a course called Success Resources, and also my mother, how she taught me, and my father taught me good work ethic, and all that. It could be created a perfect storm. But the question you asked is how it relates in the business world. How everything that you do. I don't know where you heard that from, but I've heard that saying before. It stuck with me. One of the courses I take, and how you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah. How you do anything is how you do everything. When I teach a warm-up set on a squat, I teach them like they're already doing the set itself. When they're practicing, you practice it the same way you would do it. So it leads into the business world. If you let those little things slip through the cracks, say for instance, let's use taxes for example. All of a sudden I do my taxes quarterly now because I used to do them yearly. But if you let that slip, and then everything else in your life will follow that path. Right. If you don't if you don't have your grass cut, if you don't have your dishes done, it sounds so weird, right? People don't. Believe me when I say this, you don't have those little things done. If you don't keep things clean and organized, other things you can look at somebody's house, you can look at the way their car is, then you can find out what type of person that person is and how they run their business. If everything's messy around them, I bet you the business is pretty damn messy too. Right, because it trickles down. You say, I'm going to leave this, cup here. Next thing you leave 5 more. Now you have a pile, So I'm a big believer of that as well. So it sounds like you had some amazing parents. Were they entrepreneurs as well? My mom was a stay-at-home mom. So she took care of all 6 of us. I was one of 6. Wow. I was the second to the caboose. My brother was the youngest. My dad called him the caboose because he was the end of the train, right? Yeah. So my dad worked at an Orbital construction company. That was his main job as a supervisor and a foreman. And at his other job, we had these at the house. We lived along the creek, the Chamonix Creek, like I told you. And before I was born, he had these slips that would hold boats and winterize the boats. And he would make money doing that. Mm-hmm. That was gone by the time I was, I guess, I don't even remember it. But then he learned how to fix lower outboard engines, Chryslers. Wow. And that was he came home and he would fix those for extra income. My brother, Jack, loved fishing a lot. He wanted to open a bait and tackle shop. He was really young. we ended up at the bait and tackle shop below our house, and because we have a commercial property, that we had a commercial property there. Fast forward, my dad eventually passed away. My mom passed away. It's been years later, and we just sold the house recently. But it was bittersweet. It was nice to let go. At the same time, bittersweet. But we had below the house, we had the bait and tackle shop. So people come in, ring the bell, like, My dad decided that'd be a good idea to put a bell up. And I'm upstairs trying to eat. So I had to run downstairs. It was a big house. So I run downstairs and then take care of the bait and tackle shop. But yes, the original question was, come from entrepreneurs. My father taught me good work ethic. He taught me the mom and pop's way of thinking. And I took that to every business that I've ever worked for and in my own business. I try to treat everybody fairly. And I think customer service is so important. And I feel like it's dying today. It should be nurtured. Customer service should be nurtured. Not just the ones you're getting now, the ones that are there. You give back to your customers. I've always believed that. I believe you do more for the customers that have been with you forever.
Yes, that's very important. Not just a transaction, but take care of your customers.
Yeah,
definitely.
And the customers I have been with me for 15 years, some of them. 15 years of training with me. So it's been a blessing in disguise, like I said earlier. And you know what? Some people say they don't believe in luck, and I believe in luck. Luck is when you start putting opportunity and hard work together, and that's where luck comes from. And then you start seeing it. Compound effect of luck. Compound effect over time. I think a lot of people don't have patience. I realized that patience will take me much further if I keep plugging away at it, keep plugging away at it. So that's how I approach my business. That's how I approach my training. That's how I approach relationships with friends and loved ones. So that's where I've been at for the last, 46 years, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. That's very important. Like you said, take it step by step. Sometimes we want instant results and then we get overwhelmed, So very, very important. So how can people connect with you, Gordon? So they can watch you on your podcast or connect with you for personal training?
Well, they can connect with me. Well, one way they can connect with me is if there's a way to put my number down there. You can call me at 267-322-1011, or they can just text me at that number 267-322-1011. They can also reach me at my email address, GordonBrodecki@gmail.com, or you can reach me at Gordon GarageFitnessPA.com. All right. Okay. So that's another way of reaching me too. You can find my book online. Just type that in. My name will come right up. I'm also on Facebook. You can't miss me. If you put Gordon Brodecki in, you're gonna find me.
Yeah. Not that many last names.
Yeah, not that many Gordon Brodeckis out there. You're gonna find me. I'm on Facebook all over the place. So that's how they can find me.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So you're on Instagram, Facebook, and they can call, text, or email you.
I gotta change my Instagram name. It's something I made up a while ago. It's Gordonius at 13, but it doesn't really. And the reason I didn't change it, I'll tell you this before I let you go, is because I would have to change everything across social media and go back and retype everything in, my shirts I made, everything. So I'm gonna have to change it eventually.
Yeah. No worries. And I'm sure people can still find you. And I think the powerful thing about you and your business is that you're branding yourself as the person and you bring so much knowledge. So I think that's really, really powerful. Like you said, it's different from other trainers. It sounds like you focus on each person.
Right. So and I'm trying to reach more people with this. And that's why I'm doing the speaking. That's why I'm doing webinars and the podcast. And like you said, one thing I think it's different is I like the mind. I think a lot about the mind. I started researching a lot with neuroscientists and neurobiologists study, and I'm starting to learn what makes people tick and why they do what they do and how to change those habits and make them long lasting. Just through like the habits alone, the cue, response, reward. That's a big one. How the brain releases dopamine and serotonin, and how we learn, and how the first process of any kind of habit, when we start any habit, is the prefrontal cortex. It doesn't come a habit until we do it over and over and over again, become repetitive, and then gets transferred into what we call the striatum, this part of the brain that stores, say, for instance, riding a bike. You know how to ride a bike, but you can probably ride a bike pretty easily now. If you ridden a bike in the past. So if you ride a bike, and then you probably ride a bike and look around a little bit now. In the beginning, you're falling all over the place. Well, that's how habits are formed. And that's that's one of the things I teach people is when you make things repetitive, the cue, the response, and the reward, you'll start seeing that everything starts flowing, ebbing and flowing. But you got to make your habits visible, bad ones invisible. So if you have a bad habit, I'm going to say this, I just want to teach this real quick. If you have a bad habit, what happens is it's going to continue because that's your habit loop. So in order to create a good habit, for instance, say this habit was a bad habit. I got to replace. I can't. It's not enough just to throw this hat away because I'm going to try to find it again, right?
Right.
And like if I'm an alcoholic, I'm going to look for that again. What I got to do is I got to find something else to replace it, whatever it is. Maybe say it's a pen. Let's just use an example. So and I had to find something to replace it now. If I'm always fidgeting with this, I got to find something else to fidget with. That's not bad. If we want to use alcohol, for example, let's use that one as an example. If you're an alcoholic and you go to reach for a drink, you got to maybe find something that has seltzer in it, a seltzer water. Or if you're somebody who reaches for some like candy, you got to get rid of the candy and put something out in the middle of the open like an apple or banana and start eating things that are still sweet, that taste good, but that are healthy. So now you're replacing that habit. You're replacing the bad habit with a good habit. And one thing I want to let you know is that your mind does not know good from bad. So when I say good and bad, it's only because that's the way we perceive it, and that's our moral compass. So it doesn't know the difference between a good or bad habit. It just knows that you're doing it over and over again, and it gets transferred into your subconscious mind. It's much like how we live in the past. We live in our familiar past. So when we live in that, it's always easier to go back to that. It's a lot harder to try new things out because that's where we live. We always want to go back to it. It's comfortable. So to break out of your comfort zone, like with the speaking event, most people don't like doing that kind of stuff. I didn't like doing it, but I broke through a fear. And I think fitness is a lot like that, especially for new people. To go into a fitness world, be around a bunch of people they don't know, feel foolish sometimes. Everybody's doing the same thing. I tell people don't feel foolish. But breaking through that barrier too. So there's so many different like layers to fitness and to health and the mindset, and that's where I dive in and really focus on and try to really like navigate people through when I'm teaching them. That's only one small part of what I teach.
Yeah, no, that's very true what you're mentioning. There's a lot that goes into habits and our brain and things like that. So I appreciate you sharing that because that's powerful. So I love it. I love how much knowledge you have.
I got one more for you. Can I give you one more?
Yeah, go for it.
It's a breathing technique. So sometimes your mind isn't powerful enough to get you up and move, because you can be tired or you can be stressed or whatever. So there's two different types of techniques I learned from a neuroscientist named Dr. Andrew Huberman. What he said was when you're breathing, if you can be tired or you can be anxious. And there's two ways to combat both of them. If you're tired, you think you're going to breathe in fast and then out fast. So actually it's the opposite. You're going to take a long breath in.
Okay.
And then breathe out fast. And that'll actually increase dopamine. Now, if you're stressed out, the opposite, you actually want to breathe in like, and that'll calm you down. You ever see a little kid go like when he's crying? That's actually that's your nervous system doing that for you. So if you do those, if you're tired, you're sitting there and you want to get up and do something, breathe in real slow and breathe out. And that'll bring up keep doing that over and over and over again. There's also another breathing technique by Wim Hof breathing. He just talks about just breathe, Wim Hof. If you ever look, they call him the Iceman, and he talks a lot about breathing. You're going to get into that. But there are two little tips I just wanted to give today.
Awesome.
I just wanted to leave you with that you can do get you up and moving without just relying on change of your mindset. You got to sometimes you got to do it from a biological level, physiological level, where you're getting yourself moving by breathing techniques.
Yes, very true. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Gordon, for being on our podcast, and we'll be connecting soon. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
And thank you for listening.
I'm sure we'll have more in the future. So everybody should just stay tuned. We have a lot more to talk about.
All right. Thank you so much for having me on, by the way.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure. It was fantastic. A lot of fun.
Okay. Have a great day, Gordon.
You too. See you, Lori.
Welcome to the Business Owner Spotlight by AudateMedia. In this interview show, you will learn how to succeed through other people's stories, challenges that they overcame, and how they are winning in this new economy. You'll learn what to do in your business, what not to do in your business, and how others are succeeding. Tune in every week to discover new stories, new businesses, and new ideas.